I think it's amazing what you can get for your money these days. So when I saw this watch pop up on AliExpress, my curiosity got the better of me, and I just had to order it. I got this Automatic GMT for £57 in the AliExpress sale. So let's take a look and see what you get for your money. So the brand is called Lacz Denton. I believe this brand was started by Pagani, so we can expect the quality to be okay. Now at first glances, the logo reminds me a lot of a car brand. You probably know the one that I'm thinking of. So the watch comes in this black box, and if we open it up, so it actually came with this polishing cloth, which is branded, which is quite nice. Also came with a spare NATO strap, black and grey, and on the clasp is signed by Pagani. You have the instruction manual, which doesn't actually have instructions for the GMT inside, and then you have a warranty card as well. So I went for the black face and blue bezel model. They also do a black on black which has orange accents, which is also quite nice. It either comes on this sort of sailcloth style strap, or you can get it on the metal bracelet as well. The model number for this piece is the LD9106. As I mentioned, it's an automatic. I believe the movement is a Hangzhou, which is a DG5833 GMT automatic movement, and it has a 30-hour power reserve. Now I'm particularly interested in this movement because, as some of you may or might not know, I'm currently in the process of designing my own GMT. And when looking at GMT movements, the Hangzhou popped up on my radar a couple of times. But in the end, I didn't go for this movement, as I was advised by different manufacturers that they had quality control issues when using the movement. So in the end, I went for the Swiss-made Ronda 515 quartz movement. So for me, I really wanted to see what this movement could offer. So it's coming in at 40mm, lug width is 20mm, thickness is coming in at 13mm. So the dimensions of the watch, I think, pretty much tick most boxes for most people. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's not too thick as well. The advertised thickness for the case is 11mm on the AliExpress store, but as you saw there, it came in at 13 for me. It has a bi-directional 60-click bezel, which the action isn't too bad. It's kind of got an old school sort of ratchy feel to it, and it works quite well. When you're not using the bezel, there isn't any play in it at all, which is good. I think the handset on this watch is quite interesting. You have these sort of dagger style hands, and the Lume comes to about halfway up. You got the seconds hand, which has a blue tip on the end, and then the GMT hand sits on the bottom, which is a blue colour which matches the bezel. You have applied hour markers, which are sort of rectangular, and then at the 12 and the 6 you have the double squares. The one thing I did notice, I'd be interested to see if any of you eagle-eyed viewers noticed as well, the squares at the 12 o'clock position aren't quite straight. The top one is slightly off, by maybe just a millimeter. The squares at 6 o'clock seem to line up quite well. You have the date window at 3 o'clock, you have the branding obviously at 12, and then automatic text at 6 o'clock. The lugs are brush finish, and the side of the case is highly polished. The crown is also polished, and it looks like the bezel is polished also. Flipping over to the clasp, it's just your standard deployment clasp, which is branded there. The strap is very stiff, I must say, but here you see the deployment clasp, and then you have the case back here, which kind of has an etched picture of the Earth, and then you have the standard watch backs on the bottom. So there's automatic 200 meters water resistance. It has the brand name, and of course it's made from 316L stainless steel. Now, the movement works quite well. It's been keeping time fine. One of the main issues that I found with this watch so far is this crown. It's just so small. And with my sausage fingers, I find it really hard to use the crown. So you put out one click and turn towards us, that will set the GMT hand. You turn away, although you can't see it because the hand's in the way, this will do the date. Pull out a second click and this will do the main hands. Push back in. Now it has a claimed water resistance of 200 meters, but as far as I can tell, I don't think the crown is screw down. No. So I'd be apprehensive to say that this has a water resistance of 200 meters, but it's just so small. I might actually even measure it to see. So the crown is coming in at 5.5 millimeters. I think a nice crown size is around 7 or 8 millimeters. But seeing as this watch is so cheap, they probably just used generic case and crown to bring the pricing down. It is signed with the brand logo, which is quite nice, but it could really do with being bigger in my opinion. The movement feels okay when you're winding it. It feels quite light, but yeah, it does the job, so it seems to be fine. Let's get this on wrist and see how it looks. Okay, that was a bit of a struggle to be honest, because the strap is so stiff, but I managed to get it on. And I think on wrist, it looks quite nice. The case size will hit the sweet spot for a lot of people, and I think the thickness isn't really an issue. Now it has a flat crystal. I don't think it's sapphire, maybe it's sapphire coated, and it is quite reflective, but there's a bit of a blue tint there, so maybe there's some anti-reflective coating on there. But yeah, I think for £57, it's not a bad watch, you know. You can tell that it's not super high quality. They probably just used a generic case with crown and bezel to keep the pricing down. But I think if you're looking for a cheap GMT to use on the move, then this could be an okay option. Now the watch comes with an NATO strap, so I'm just going to put that on to see how it looks. Sorry, that took longer than expected. So I've got the NATO strap on. It's quite stiff. It doesn't feel like high quality, but again, it does the job. It has brushed finishing on the hardware and it's signed on the buckle. So I'm just going to put this on and let's see how it looks on the NATO. So there it is on the NATO strap. I think it actually looks pretty cool on the NATO strap. I'd probably have it on this if I was to, keep the watch. I'm not sure if the black and grey really goes with the black and blue of the watch. It might be better with just a plain black strap. But NATO straps are cheap, you can probably get your own, and it's probably a bit of a strap monster. You can put different straps on this and it'd look pretty cool. Obviously having it on the NATO makes it a bit thicker, but still it's not too bad. It's not uncomfortable. So yep, that's how it looks on the NATO strap. So let me know what you think, guys. I think £57 for an automatic GMT is quite incredible, really. But you know, if they're selling it for £57, how much is it to make one? Probably not a lot. But the quality isn't bad. It's not great. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. Like I said, I think if you're looking for a cheap travel watch to keep track of your time zones, then this could be a good option. As you never know if you're wearing a nice expensive GMT watch in a different country. You know, you hear these horror stories about people getting them stolen off their wrists and stuff like that. So if you're looking for just a cheap travel watch you don't necessarily really mind losing, then this could be a good option. I forgot to mention the Lume. I had a look at it last night, and it's not actually too bad. I was quite surprised at how good the Lume is. But yeah, I was quite impressed with that, because you often find on cheaper watches that the Lume isn't great, but on this it was actually quite good. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and also let me know if you picked up anything else in the AliExpress sale. I've bought 3 watches to review on the channel, so these should be here over the next month or so. So hopefully I can upload a bit more regularly. The problem is I've run out of my own watches to now talk about, so I'm having to order more. And I haven't got quite enough followers yet for people to lend me their watches. So yeah, I've got watches incoming, so expect more videos to be uploaded in the following month or so. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.